Okay, welcome everybody. So my ideas for this evening were to work with the breath. We always work with the breath, but to just really work with expanding the breath as much as possible from the physical perspective. So the actual kind of musculature and skeletal architecture of the breath, which is actually very complicated. Everything's kind of connected, the rib cage, the spine. So, and really opening up this area basically, so sides, front, back, so that we can breathe fully. Because what tends to happen until you become a yogi or become conscious of your breath in any other way, we're not breathing fully, so we're not getting the benefits of breathing fully. But what also happens is that when you breathe kind of shallow, small breaths, you're not stretching the muscles as they need to be stretched from the inside as well. So it's like a self-perpetuating or vicious cycle. The muscles get tighter and tighter, so it actually gets harder and harder to breathe fully. So we're going to really focus on breathing fully to stretch and open ourselves from the inside so that we can breathe even more fully and change the vicious cycle to a virtuous cycle. Okay, so we'll start seated and we'll start with some pranayama, which will deliberately focus on expanding the breath. So we'll first expand the inhale and then the exhale, but just before we begin that, just kind of find a comfortable seat, just kind of settle in. And just fully arrive, especially if we are going to be working into expansive breathing. It's really important to start from a very grounded, embodied place. So just really, especially if you've had a stressful day or you've been rushing around, or if you're just that type of person. And really just taking time to become quiet, become still, and really feel your body. And the best way to do that is feel your body's connection with the floor. So I like to do just the most tiny little movements, maybe even tiny circles or side to side, forward and backwards on the pelvis, just to kind of feel the base of the pelvis and then settle myself in what feels like the center of my pelvis. So the spine should feel like it's rising fairly easily from the pelvis if we get the right spot. And then just to focus in on our torso, which we're going to be looking at a lot, just bring the shoulders up to the ears and push them back, all the way back, like squeezing the shoulder blades together and then push them down, actually literally push them down, trying to keep them back a little bit as well, so you immediately open your upper chest. What might have happened is you might have overarched in the lower back here and lost any core integrity. So without losing the openness of the chest and the shoulders drawing back and down, also connect to your deep core. So without losing the grounding downward connection of your legs and pelvis to the floor, just have a subtle lift of the pelvic floor and a subtle drawing in of the lower belly back to the spine. So all these aspects working together, grounding, heavying in the limbs and the pelvis, rising up through the spine, opening the chest with the shoulders back and down, and connecting to your deep core. And just kind of check in with all those points. Your hands can be in any comfortable position, maybe in the lap. You might want to take Yanana Mudra. First finger touches thumb. Other three fingers extend backs of the hands on the knees or palms down, a bit more grounding. Or any other hand position. Okay, so trying to keep this kind of attention to detail with our seated posture, our seat. Asana literally means seat. Let's just become aware of our breath. So just, if you can, try not to change the breath. Just try and notice your particular breathing pattern this evening. It's probably going to change every day, frequently throughout the day. But also we tend to have kind of habitual patterns. Maybe we have a longer inhale than an exhale, or vice versa. Maybe the inhale feels more arduous than the exhale, or vice versa. And tonight, does it feel easeful and flowing, or does it feel quite strained? Do you feel like you're breathing more through one nostril than the other? Or evenly? And then if you haven't already, we're going to start to consciously deepen the breath. So start to draw deep inhales in, as if you're drawing the breath from somewhere deep within the pelvic wall, all the way up to the upper chest, and feel this kind of expansion of the torso up to the upper chest as you breathe in, and then breathe out fully, completely through the nose if you can. So just super conscious breaths. Feeling the shoulders lift and sway as you inhale, and feeling the tummy tuck back towards the spine at the end of the exhale. And just keep that going. I'm going to lead us into a counted pranayama, and we'll start 4 in, 4 out, and then we'll go 5 in, 4 out, 6 in, 5, 4 out. So expanding the inhale. If at any point it gets too much or creates any anxiety or stress within you, just come out of the practice, come back to your own count, your own slow, deep breaths. Okay, so don't let yourself become stressed in any way. So let's synchronize the breath. So take a deep, expansive inhale in through the nose. And exhale. And breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 5, 2, 3, 4. Out 5, 2. Sorry, 4. 4. In 5, 2, 3, 4. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'll get it right this time. In 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. And just release that technique. Come back to normal breathing. Stay conscious of the breath. That was probably challenging to keep extending the inhale. It tends to be harder than the exhale. Well, let's see when we go the other way. But what you'll also notice is that when we're doing pranayama, it means breath restraint or breath control. So when we're doing these kind of ratios, you know you've got to make your inhale last for 8 and your exhale only 4. So the control or the restraint is kind of moderating and the flow of the breath to try and let it take up that amount of time. And then obviously when you exhale, it's going to be a much kind of more forceful, pushing the air out in a short, condensed breath. So this is why we use ratios a lot in pranayama, because we learn to expand or contract and condense the breath at will. Okay, so now you're going to see it the other way around. So you'll be needing to take a big, quick, dynamic inhale, because you're only going to have a short amount of time, and then learn to control and moderate the outflow as best you can, no stress. Okay. So, and apologies for my lack of presence there. Or I'm on it now. Okay, so now with the exhale. So just again, let's synchronize the breath. Deep breath in. And breath out. Breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 4, 2, 3, 4. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 4, 2, 3, 4. Out 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, in 4, 2, 3, 4, out 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 4, 2, 3, 4, out 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in 4, 2, 3, 4, out 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in 4, 2, 3, 4, out 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in 4, 2, 3, 4, out 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And release the practice, come back to slow, deep, easeful breaths. Again, just acknowledging if that was challenging, probably. And if you didn't make it all the way to double out to in, that's absolutely normal and fine. We just go as far as we can, and with practice, we continually expand what we're capable of with breath control and breath restraint. Okay, so now we're really in the breath. Let's start to move the body with this emphasis on the torso. So staying seated, if you need to kind of move your leg position and come back in or change position, you could change to legs out in front of you or kneeling. Otherwise, we're going to be here a few more minutes. So as you inhale, take your right hand up, with the left hand on the floor, and as you exhale, lean over to the left. So we're opening up the side body, super important for full breaths, because we're stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs. So really breathe into the right side. Feel those muscles between the ribs stretching and opening with each inhale. We're stretching and opening ourselves from the inside today. And then inhale, come back. Exhale, take right hand down. Inhale, stretch up. So we get really long through the left side first, and then exhale, lean over to the right. If you're very open, you may have your right elbow on the floor, but just make sure your left buttock doesn't leave the floor. So if you feel like to get your elbow down, you have to lift the left buttock, then just resist and stay on the hand. Again, direct your awareness to your breath and feel like you're in your breath, kind of travel to the inside of your body and feel your breath moving, stretching, opening your body from within. So I've got my awareness in my left lung, feeling it open the rib cage, stretch the intercostal muscles, and then inhale, come back to the center. Take the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, so moving to the front of the torso now. Lift the hands up and away and lift the chin slightly, or you can keep it straight ahead, but breathe all the way up into the upper chest. Try not to strongly overarch in the lower back, so drop the tailbone, connect to your core. And again, feel this as a breath practice. See how high into the chest you can take the breath. And exhale, lower. And then bring the hands out in front of you and interlace the fingers. So it's that one where we're holding a big ball between our arms, and it's like you're pulling on the hands without moving the hands. And there's traction. We're trying to pull the fingers apart without our hands actually moving. So it's kind of like this. And you draw the chin to the chest. And we breathe into the back and the upper back and the shoulders. All muscles that when they're tight restrict our capacity to breathe fully. So again, stretch and open with your breath. One more breath. If you're doing this effectively, you should feel fatigue in the arms and then lower. And just sticking with the back body, finally, before we move from our hands and knees, we're just going to walk the hands forward and drop the head. So just go as far as feels okay for you. Try not to let the buttocks come off the floor. It's like a rounded back position. And again, we're breathing into the back. And now you'll feel it more into the mid to lower back. So expand and open the rib cage, mid to lower rib cage with the breath. Breathe into the kidneys. And then slowly walk the hands back in. And just for evenness in the hips, we'll go forward one more time, just for a few breaths. So swap your legs over, put the other shin in front if you're cross-legged. If you're in any other position, you can just stay the same. And again, walk the hands forward, drop the head, and once more, just breathe into the mid to lower back, or wherever you feel this. With this sense that we're inflating ourselves and deflating ourselves from the inside like bellows. Our lungs really are like bellows in a way. These big balloons that expand and contract air sacs, full of air sacs. And then at the end of your next exhale, walk the hands in and find your way to tabletop. Hands and knees, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And we'll cat-cow the spine, again, wonderful for creating space in the torso. So as you inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, shoulders back, look up, and just feel this is creating a lot of space in your front body. And then as you exhale into the cat, again, feel it is creating lots of space in the back body. So we're mobilizing the spine, of course, but just kind of for today, focus on creating space in the torso. So when you're in the cat, really press through the hands and stretch and open the skin of the upper back. Or when you're in the cow, really kind of almost pull the floor towards you to traction and stretch the belly without moving the hands. And just create as much space as possible. Up and down with the breath. And at the end of your next exhale, come to the neutral spine. And again, we're going to return to the side body. So just without moving your right knee, just pivot the foot so the foot comes off the mat to the right and stretch your left foot to the end of the mat. Take your left hand off the floor and reach it forward. So your upper arm is close to the ear. So you're just balancing on your right hand, right knee and shin and left foot. And find the side body stretch. See if you can anchor down the whole of the sole of the left foot, including the little toe. And just breathe again into your side flank here around the armpit. One more breath. And then look to the floor, exhale, lower the hand down, just bring that left knee back down. And just go to the other side. So lift your right leg up and back now, stretching it back and lifting it just higher from the hip, higher than the hip if available, and look up slightly. So we're getting front body extension again. Feel like you're stretching the toe back, crown of the head stretching forward. If available, you might want to try the tiger stretch here, bending the right foot into the buttock, taking the left hand back and pushing the foot into the hand, but not, this is just an option for those that want to, not essential. Otherwise, you're just still reaching forward. If you have the bind, release and lower everything down. Just take another cat-cow between sides. Again, making space. And then same on the other side without moving the left knee. You pivot the left foot off the mat to the left side, reach the right foot to the end of the mat now. Take the right hand off the floor and reach it forward. So the upper arm is close to the ear. And we have to be stable in our roots here. So press down through the right foot, including the little toe edge. Press down through the left hand. Connect to your core, drawing the navel in. And then again, breathe into your side body. Feel that opening, especially when you inhale and stretch the intercostal muscles. One more deep breath here. Full expansion. And then exhale, lower the right hand down. Just bring the right knee back down. Come back to neutral, center. And then inhale, stretch the left leg back and look up. It's like we're pointing our toes behind us. So we're creating space on the front body. You can stay here or bend the left foot in towards the buttock, take the right hand back, find the front of the foot and push the foot into the hand. Draw the right shoulder back. It just creates extra space around the front. Right chest, optional. Otherwise, keep extending and you're getting the front body stretch. And then exhale, release everything back down. And again, take a cat-cow, really enjoying that openness of the front body as you inhale and the back body as you exhale. And come to a neutral spine. Keep the hips where they are over the knees and walk the hands forward for puppy or anahatasana. And if it's available, just melt the chest down towards the floor and the forehead, or possibly the chin meets the floor. If that's too strong, just more dynamic, more like downward dog arms with the head between the upper arms, less of a kind of collapsing feeling. But either way, what we're looking for here, especially if you're in the full puppy with the concave curve, is spinal extension, front body extension, but also see if you can feel it as side body extension. So I really feel this as kind of stretching and creating space in my sides, in my waist. See if you can feel that part of it. Breathe into the front body and the side body. One more breath. And then press through the hands to lift the head, even if it's not lifted already, and walk the hands back in, just in front of the shoulders. And tuck the toes, and we're going to find downward dog. So lifting the hips, sending the hips up and back, creating that triangle shape with the body, and just checking with your foundations, spread the fingertips, spread the toes, looking back towards the feet. Bend the knees if you need, lift the heels as much as you need, and then feel this as a back body opener. So use the breath, again, go internal and find the tight areas in your back and use the breath to try and penetrate them, open them from the inside. One more deep breath. And then at the end of your exhale, look forward and bring the feet to the hands. So walk them forward or step them forward until the feet are underneath the hips. I'm going to stay in a forward fold. So again, you can bend the knees as much as you need to, let the head hang. And just for a variation that works with the chest, if it's available, this isn't available, just hold your opposite elbow. If you bring the hands behind you again, interlace the fingers and come up and over. So we just get into that upper chest and shoulder area, so important for full breathing. When you start to look at the skeleton, you realize how much is connected. Shoulder girdle, rib cage, spine. So we kind of need freedom in so many areas to breathe fully. One more deep breath. And then if your hands are interlaced, release, and we're going to come up into the chair. We're going to do this as a dynamic movement. So inhale, come into the chair, lifting the hands as high as possible, and come into the shot, and exhale, come forward again, bring the hands up and over, and interlace the hands forward. We'll do this 2 more times, bend the knees, release the bind. Inhale, keep the hips low, take the hands up, stretching the front body. Exhale, fold forward, hands interlace, maybe the other little finger on top now. One more time. Inhale, bend the knees, release the bind, keep the hips low, send the hands up, stretch up through the fingertips, and exhale, forward fold. Last time, hands up and over. Pause again for a couple of breaths. This time, bend the left knee, look up over the right shoulder, allow the hands to move to the left. Come back to the center, bend the right knee, look up over the left shoulder, feel that stretch across the front of the left shoulder. Come back to the center, release the hands, come up again via the chair, keep the hips low. This time we're going to pause for 3 to 5 breaths. So keeping the hips down, stretch up through the fingertips. So we're really, and look up to the fingertips, opening the front body here. And then inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, bring the hands to the side. Well done. I'm just gonna, let me smoky in here. I think turn my incense on. Okay, so come to stand in front of the mat and just feel. We're going to go through some sun salutations. Feel how it doesn't do the side, but it constantly opens the front and then the back of the body. So again, we're kind of keeping this emphasis and focus for our practice this evening. So as we did at the start, bring the shoulders up to the ears, back and down, and feel the upper chest open. Feel space in the chest that we can breathe into. Drop the tailbone, connect your deep core, feel grounded. So important when we do breath work. And then feel the inhale as an expansive movement that raises the arms above the head. And as you exhale, fold forward, stretching the back of the body. Inhale, we look up, lengthen the spine, and we stretch the front of the chest again. Exhale, we step back to the plank, and in this position or tabletop, it's even front and back, building strength and openness. Inhale here, and as you exhale, knees down, Anahatasana, open the front chest again, chin and the chest down. And inhale, come to a back bend. Again, opening the front of the chest. Exhale, back to downward dog, which is a bit like plank, a bit more kind of even front and back, but definitely a back body opener. So again, use downward dog to penetrate your tight areas of the back with your breath. Send your awareness there as you breathe fully. And expand and open parts of the body that have been previously closed through your breath and awareness. So one more breath. And at the end of the exhale, look forward, walk, step, jump feet to the hands. Inhale, look up and lengthen, maybe hands on the shins. Again, feel this is a front opener. Exhale, drop the head, back opener, especially if you draw the chin all the way in. Inhale, raise the hands above the head and maybe just turn it into a slight back bend, hips forward, fingertips back, and exhale back to the neutral Tadasana, but lifting the chest, shoulders back and down. Take a breath. Two more, really with this focus. Focused awareness. Inhale, raise the hands, open the front body. Exhale, hinge, drop the head. Really draw the chin in. Inhale, look up, stretch the front body, draw the shoulders back, chest forward, and exhale, step or jump back to plank or tabletop. Inhale here, feeling integrity on the front and back. Exhale, lower the knees, chin and the chest down. Feel that stretch on the front of the body. And inhale into a deeper stretch, maybe in the front body. For a back bend and exhale, downward dog. Tune in to your groundedness when you come to downward dog as well. Just keep coming back to grounding, connection of your roots so that we can be fully grounded as we play with and practice expanding our breath. One more deep breath in. And at the end of the exhale, look forward, walk, step, jump, feet to the hands. Inhale, hands on the floor or your shins, look up, open the chest. Exhale, drop the head, draw the chin in, stretch that upper back. Inhale, press through the hands, raise the hands up, slight back bend, hips forward, fingertips back. Exhale, Tadasana. Just take a breath and again, just draw the shoulders up, back and down between rounds, just to keep opening that chest. Last round, inhale, take it up, maybe slight back bend. Exhale, hinge, draw the chin right in today. Inhale, look up and lengthen, draw the shoulders back, chest forward, and exhale, step or jump back to the plank. Inhale here, a moment of evenness, front back body. Exhale, lower down. I would recommend knees on the floor today to keep opening the front body. Ashtanga, and inhale into your back bend, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale into downward dog. Ground for your hands and feet. Connect to your core. Again, choose where you want to put your awareness to open parts of the body that feel tight, because this will be impinging the breath, this tightness in the back. And at the end of your next exhale, look forward, walk, step, jump, feet to hands. Inhale, look up, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, drop the head, chin in. Inhale, raise the hands, really stretch and open the front body. Stretch up through the fingertips and exhale, Tadasana. Just one last time. Bring the shoulders up to the ears, back and down. And this time interlace the fingers behind the back and press the knuckles down like you're trying to touch the floor with the knuckles, really depressing the shoulders. And if you can, squeeze the palms together. Just hold that for a moment without leaning back, without collapsing in the lower back. Keep drawing the tailbone under. This is helping draw the shoulders back to where they need to be. Release the bind and try not to let the shoulders move too much. And just breathe fully into the chest. What tends to happen in daily life is the shoulders are always forward, the chest is collapsed. So in yoga, we try and redress, rebalance this. Okay, and then we're going to flow again. If you want to skip the flows and just meet us in the postures, that's absolutely fine, because we're going to just flow into a few torso opening standing postures. So again, ground down through the feet. Inhale, lift and lengthen up through the fingertips. Exhale, forward fold, hinge, drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And exhale, just step back to downward dog. Just take a breath here. And then from here, inhale, raise your right leg and bend the knee and just let the foot drop over to the left and look up underneath your right shoulder. If this is too much, come onto your knees. And then square the hips again, look forward, and we're going to bring the foot between the hands and release the left knee onto the floor, come onto the top of the left foot, sink those hips low. Now, if it's best for you to have the fingertips on the floor or blocks, do so, or on the thigh, but otherwise, inhale the hands up because this helps create space in the upper chest. And breathe fully into the upper chest. Maybe again, you might explore the back bending aspect of this posture today, reaching the fingertips further behind you. But try not to collapse in the lower back. Try to keep structural integrity in your core and legs and feet. And then come back up to vertical if you lean back. We're going to twist. Twists help open and the spine and the torso. So left hand to the outside of the right knee or left elbow, the palms together. Choose your posture and then take as full a breath as possible, remembering our focus today, stretching from the inside. And then inhale, come up again. Hands all the way up. Exhale, hands down, tuck the back toe under. Lift the back knee and come onto the ball of the foot. And from here, we're going to lean into the left hand. You can use a block underneath the hand if you need. And raise the right hand up. So we're in a twist again. If that's too much, just take the right hand onto the right hip and draw it back. But we're very strong in the back leg now. And then exhale, lower the right hand, again, maybe onto a block if you need. And try not to move the hips or the legs, but take the left hand up. So we're in an open twist. Feel how much more expansive the breath can be here when the torso is open. Exhale, lower. And then your choice. If you need a rest, take child's pose or come back to downward dog. But if you want to go through the vinyasa, exhaling down, knees on or off the floor, and really enjoy that front opener of the back bend before you come back to downward dog. So skip the vinyasas if you wish, and we meet in downward dog. From downward dog, we're going to inhale, raise the left leg, bend the knee, let the foot drop over to the right. And then without losing even weight distribution in the hands, look up underneath your left armpit. So don't lose connection between either hands or connection between right foot. Very grounded. And then square the hips, look forward, bring the left foot forward between the hands, lower the right knee to the floor, come onto the top of the right foot, sink the hips. Choose your hand position, floor, thigh, or for full chest expansion, palms together and hands come up. And we can either stay here, kind of more or less vertical, but upper arms close to the ears, or again, really ground down through the feet, draw the navel in, drop the tailbone, and maybe explore taking the hands further back, trying to follow the hands with the gaze. It's really hard to speak doing that. Okay, so a couple more breaths. And then if you've gone back, come to vertical, take it into the twist. Right hand to the outside of the knee, left hand back. Or right elbow, palms together, looking over the left shoulder. And breathe. It's always harder to breathe in a closed twist. But if we breathe as expansively as we can, we are doing super good work from the inside, massaging organs, creating space, nourishing. And then inhale, turn to the front, take the hands down, tuck the back toe under and lift the back knee, kind of stabilizing the legs and the feet. Lean into the right hand underneath the shoulder, use a block if you need, and take the left hand up. So we're in the closed twist. Closed means the torso is kind of by the bent leg, there's less space. Breathe as fully as you can. And then exhale, bring the left hand down to the outside of the left foot. Take the right hand up onto the hip or all the way up. And breathe. You've got more space now, you can breathe more into the belly. A couple of breaths. And then exhale, lower that hand. And again, your choice. You could come back to plank and vinyasa, you could come straight to downward dog, or you could kind of just drop to the floor for a moment in the child's pose. If you're vinyasing, flow with the breath, and really use that inhale for the back bend, front body opener. And again, we meet in downward dog for some expansive back body breathing. And then again, inhale from downward dog, raise the right leg, drop the knee for a moment. Lift the knee, drop the foot for a moment. Inhale, stretch the right foot up again, square the hips, bring the right foot forward, and exactly the same as before. We're going to lower that left knee down and come back to the crescent moon lunge. And this is where you might need a block, actually, I should have said before. We're going to come up and I'll swap sides so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to maybe need a block right by our right hip. And remember, blocks have 3 heights because we're going to try and just drop the right hand and let it make contact with something. You might, if you're very open, be able to touch the floor with the fingertips. Only needs to be the fingertips. And then we inhale, stretch up through the left side, and we exhale, lean over to the right. So if you haven't got a block, use whatever you've got, a bolster, blanket, to bring the floor closer. And if this isn't for you, you can just have the hand dangling or on the hip as well. Breathe into the side body and the front body. It's not a twist, it's a lateral stretch, side body stretch. One more breath. And then inhale, come up. Take the left hand down underneath the left shoulder. If you know you're very open, it might be your left elbow with the forearm parallel to the front of the mat, maybe touching the right foot. And again, we're going to twist, we're going to reach the right hand back. And for those who can, you can bend your left foot towards the buttock, take hold of the front of the foot and push the foot into the hand, like we did in the tiger stretch. So it draws the right shoulder back, you lift the space behind the heart. So it's actually a bit of a back bend. If you've not got the foot, you're just reaching back. Okay, if you've got the foot, release, turn back to the front, take the hand down. And again, your choice here, child's pose, downward dog, or vinyasa, consider using Ashtangasana today instead of chaturanga, so chin and the chest down just to get that extra front body opener. Otherwise, you're just resting in downward dog or child's pose. And then we meet back in downward dog. And we're going to inhale, raise the left leg. Keep the knee high, drop the foot over to the right just for a moment. Inhale, stretch it up again. Square the hips and bring that left foot forward between the hands. Even if you need to come down onto your knees and actually bring it forward with your hands. Drop the right knee, sink the hips. Just take a moment. And again, from here we come up. We need to feel very stable. So press down through the feet, connect to your core. And just drop the shoulders, let the left arm just dangle down and try to let it make contact with something, a block, just on the outside of the hip. If not, it can rest on the hip. Inhale, right hand reaches up, no twist, keep the torso open to the front as you lean over to the left. So this is a really good side opener. Breathe fully. Notice how it's also moving into the hip. The psoas muscle is involved in breathing, connects to the back of the spine, links the upper body to the lower body, so the whole body is involved in breathing, really. Everything's connected. Inhale, come back to the center, release the right hand down, or right elbow, so right hand or elbow is underneath the right shoulder. Reach the left hand back. Either stay here, stretching back, or bend the right foot, find the top of the foot, and push the foot into the hand. Sometimes we draw the heel in, but today we push the foot away from the buttocks. Draw the left shoulder back and lift the space behind the heart. There's an active lift of the upper back. Great. And then release. Turn to the front, release the back foot, come onto the hands, tuck the back toe under. Your choice, scoot the left foot back to plank or downward dog or tabletop or child's pose. Vinyasa if you wish, maybe Ashtangasana, knees on the floor. Inhale, back bend. Just for a moment, we're going to come back to a child's pose to stretch the whole of the back. So come into classic Balasana, bring the hands to the feet, palms up, and drop the head to the floor. So we've been doing a lot of very expansive front openers and side openers. So just for a moment, feel the back body, which also needs to open. Really relax the shoulders forward so that we get into the upper back. And just take some nice deep breaths here. And just let the heart rate settle. Great. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up. We're going to do one more flow with this same focus. So when you're ready, come to downward dog. I'm going to give you the option of putting in a wild thing here. I'll just give you a quick reminder of the wild thing. So we've been lifting up the leg, letting the foot drop over to the left. You can just stay here, but for those who want to do wild thing, you take your right hand, in this case, off the floor, you bring the right foot behind you, you lift the hips and drop that hand behind you. It's a real strong front body opener. Okay, this is optional, and then to come back, you bring the right hand down, bend the right foot down. Otherwise, you can just stay here, all child's pose. Okay, so right leg first, find your stable downward dog. Feel rooted through hands and feet. And then we inhale, raise the right leg high, keep the knee high, let the foot drop over to the left, stay there. Or take that leap of faith, take the right hand off the floor, let the right foot come down behind you, lift the hips, drop the head, drop the right hand, just for a breath or so. And then look to the floor again, bring the right hand down, pivot on the feet, bring the right leg down, and then step the right foot forward. So maybe you need to come onto the knees and bring it forward. Stay on the ball of the back foot, and this time we come up to the high lunge. So we inhale, raise the hands. This in itself, before we do anything else, is a wonderful chest opener and side body opener. Drop the tailbone, feel the core. And then we're going to take hold of the left wrist with the right hand and pull it up. So it's like retraction, we get length through the side body. And exhale, pull the wrist over to the right. So it's a bit like what we just did with the knee down, same kind of feeling. This strong side body opener that travels all the way down the hip flexor, gets into the psoas muscle. Inhale, come up to the center. Exhale, take a twist. Your twist might just be turning to face the right leg and reaching left hand forward, right hand back. Or you might take the left hand onto the outside of the right thigh. Or you might even take the right hand onto the left leg and reach the left hand back. So that's probably a bit confusing, but follow my instructions, it might work. And then come back the way you went in, turn to the front, inhale, come back to high lunge, hands up. Exhale, take the hands down. And your choice, vinyasa or downward dog or child's pose. If you're vinyasa in again, maybe just keep doing Ashtangasana as you exhale. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Okay, this is our last kind of flowy bit. So we meet in downward dog if you're in child's pose. Come back to our, I think, final downward dog. I'm never quite sure. Inhale, lift the left leg. Keep the knee high, drop the foot over to the right, stay there, or wild thing. Take the left hand off the floor, let the left foot come down behind you and lift the hips. Drop the left hand and the head. Breathe into the upper chest. And then to come out, look to the floor, bring the left hand down, pivot on the feet, bring the left foot down. And then we step the left foot between the hands, or some way bring it between the hands, stay on the ball of the back foot. And inhale, reach the hands up. Feel this is a chest opener. Feel secure in your core and your legs, strong legs, and reach up dynamically through the fingertips, feeling that openness in the chest. Take hold of the right wrist with the left hand and pull up. And then exhale, lean over to the left. Again, it's not a twist, so keep the chest open to the front. Feel that stretch all the way down right side and down the front of right hip, maybe even into the inner thigh. Great. Inhale, come back to vertical, and then we twist. So you could start by just turning towards the bent leg, reaching the right hand forward, left hand back, looking over your left shoulder. You could take the right hand down to twist a bit deeper, or you could take the left hand back, make contact with the back of the right leg, and reach the left hand back. But we are still twisting. We're looking towards the left. Interesting little stretch. Twist it on a side opener. Turn back to the front and inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, take the hands down. Final time, child's pose, downward dog, or one last vinyasa if you want, Ashtangasana or Chaturanga. Really use the inhale for a front body opener. Exhale, back to downward dog. And again, let's take child's pose, but this time with the knees wide. So take the knees about mat distance apart, the big toes touching, and this time keep the hands stretching out in front of you, or you might want to bend the elbows and just rest the forehead on the backs of the hands. But feel it more as a kind of spinal extension, side body extension, as you sink the hips back and down. And again, just catch up with yourself. When we flow, the blood moves, we get heat, we build energy, but sometimes we can just kind of the heart rate can rise, the nervous system can rise, and we get a little bit ungrounded potentially. So just take a moment to come back to your center. to integrate all of that. And then pressing through the hands, just slowly lift the head, walk the hands back in, bring the knees back together. Just come up to a high kneel. We're going to work with the side body again and come to the gate pose. So you probably want to face the long edge of your mat. We're in a high kneel, and we'll take the left leg out to the side. So your right hip stays above your right knee, and you turn the left toes either so they point straight forward or so they point straight out to the side. So try not to do somewhere in between, try and kind of commit to one. I personally like to bring my toes forward. Bring the back of the left hand onto the outer left thigh and inhale, stretch up through the right side. So we're going to be stretching this right side, so get long first, big inhale. And then as you exhale, we just lean over to the left. And as you do that, your left hand is probably naturally going to slide down the left leg towards the foot. So just see how far it goes. Don't force. If you get cramping in the left outer hip, it's very normal, just come back. You could be pretty much upright almost and still be getting a stretch. But usually the stretch develops if we give it a bit of time, a couple more breaths, and we're closing the gate. So it's called the gate. Gradually we lean over more, the gate kind of closes. And then inhale, come up, and bring that left knee in. So as Nikki Conway's raised her hand, I know what that is, though, Nikki, don't worry. Thinks you're waving at me, and we swap sides. Okay, so left hip above left knee, right foot out to the side, and again, whatever you did on that side, do on the same. Feet, toes forward or out to the side. Back of the hand, back of the right hand on right leg. Inhale, get long. There's always this inhale to stretch and lengthen, and then exhale, lean over to the right. So if we take that time to get as much length as possible, we maximize the benefits of the stretch. Avoid any cramping with this contraction of the right side. If it's too intense, come back a little bit. But if you're okay, just breathe. And if more space is created, just allow that to happen. Maybe the right hand creeps closer to the foot, but not if there's any pain or uncomfortable feelings. Work within your limits. One more deep breath. And then inhale, slowly come up. That's one of the most intense side body openers in yoga. Bring the right leg back in. And just take a moment. And then come down onto your belly. I'm just going to open the front body a little bit more. So just take a moment to arrive on your belly. So maybe you just want to put the back of the head on the hands and just relax for a moment here. And breathe. You know, our focus really today is the breath. It always is, to be honest, but feeling the physicality of our breath and expanding our breath, we open that body. So just really breathe as fully as you can. Notice how when you breathe in now, the belly expands because you feel the belly pressing the floor more obviously when you breathe in. That's because the belly is expanding into the floor. Just notice the expansion and contraction of the body as you breathe. See if you can feel it in the back of the body as well as the front. And then from here, we're going to bring the forehead to the floor and bring the hands to the side. We're going to do a couple of rounds of Shalabhasana. First round, classic Shalabhasana. So fingertips on the floor, fingernails on the floor, palms up. And draw the shoulders back away from the ears. The same thing we were doing at the start, bringing them up, back and down, but this time we're lying on our belly. Press the pubic bone down into the mat and then inhale, lift everything up, lift the feet, lift the chest, lift the hands, keep the neck long, so just look to the floor in front of you. And breathe as fully as you can. We're really working with breath, the belly's compressed, so now the breath's going to be sent into the upper chest. Couple more breaths. And then slowly lower down and just let the heels flop out to the side, let the shoulders flop forward, turn the head to the side. You need to wobble the lower back, the hips a little bit too. And we're going to do another round, And you can repeat that, or you could do the interlaced fingers version. I like this because it draws the shoulders back, so you really get that front body opener. Okay, so if that's available, or you can hold a strap if you can't easily interlace the hands. Otherwise, repeat what we just did. So again, forehead on the floor, stretch the knuckles back first, and then inhale, lift everything up. And you're trying to lift the hands up away from the back at the same time as pressing the knuckles behind you. If you've got the shoulder opener, squeeze the palms together. Again, go to the breath. Breathe as fully as you can. Try to open the soles of the feet to the ceiling, not closing them in towards each other. One more breath if you can. And then exhale, lower everything down. Let the shoulders relax. Turn the other cheek to the floor. Wobble the hips if you need. Relax. And then while we're on our belly, just one last thing, we'll do a deeper back bend. So that was all front opening, but really kind of very active. So now we use a bit more of support with the arms. So we'll come up to the Sphinx. So elbows under the shoulders. Forearms parallel, spread the fingertips. And then I always give this cue, but it's really important for today's theme. It's like you're pulling the floor towards you without moving the hands and arms. So maybe I move them slightly, maybe a couple of millimeters. And at the same time, that same action of drawing the shoulders back and down, the shoulder blades are sliding down the spine and gliding towards each other. It's subtle because we haven't got a great range of movement in this position, but there's a lot of awareness going into that action. Press the pubic bone down to relax and lengthen the lower back. If you would like more of a front body opener, turn the hands out to the sides, to the corners of the mat and straighten the arms. Try not to collapse into the shoulders. Try and keep the shoulders moving back and down, opening the front body. If you still need more, walk the hands closer to the hips, but keep the pubic bone on the floor. Final invitation for those who are on their hands, or if you're on the elbows actually, is to, if you wish, bend the knees and look up, maybe even dropping the head back towards the feet. This is totally optional. It's much more of a strong compression in the lower back. And then everybody, no matter where you're at, slowly release down. Either turn your tight side of the neck, turn your head so that the tight side of the neck gets stretched, or if you prefer, bring your forehead onto the back of the hands. Wobble the hips or maybe bend the knees and just windscreen wipe the legs. Easing the low back. And then slowly from here, hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself up through tabletop. And again, we're going to revisit child's pose as a counter pose, this time with the knees together, but again, with the arms stretched out in front. So as the hips drop back and down, actually kind of walk your fingertips forward as far as they'll go. So the arms are very active and long, and then drop the head down. So we're getting the stretching of the upper back, and the whole of the back, but we're also extending the spine here as a counter to the compression. One more deep breath. And then slowly walk the hands back to the knees and come to seated. So it's going to work again with twisting and opening, the same thing, but seated now. So we're going to bring the left leg forward and bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh for Janu Shirshasana, but we're going to work with twists. If anybody's really comfortable in half lotus, you could also do half lotus with the right foot on the left, and possibly your bind, your twist could take your right hand to meet the right toes. Okay, so that's the invitation for those who are super comfortable in half lotus. But for most of us, we're going to just be in Janu Shirshasana, and we're going to just let the left hand press the inner thigh or the inner calf or maybe the inner toes, and the right hand is behind us. And we're looking over the right shoulder. We're in the open twist first this time. If you feel very stable and you don't need that right hand behind you, you could walk, creep it around the back and find the flesh of the left thigh. And then you're creeping closer towards that half lotus bind, drawing the right shoulder back. Breathe fully. Enjoy the openness of the twist. We're going to feel the opposite in a moment. And at the end of your next exhale, unravel, unwind, come back to the center. Just between sides, we will go forward for a few breaths. So face that front foot and inhale, stretch up. Exhale, take a forward fold. So we're just going to stretch every part of the torso in this sequence. So now into the back, let the head drop. So if you're not so open and the hands are more on the thigh, we're still dropping the head, chin towards the chest so that we get into the stretch of the upper back. And we do this very consciously. Send the breath to the upper back, because often this is our default slumping position with the upper back rounded. But here we're doing it deliberately and we're breathing into those muscles. We're stretching them from the inside. And then at the end of your next exhale, coming up, and we're going to try the closed twist now. So it's going to feel less open probably. So if you're in half lotus, you can still do this in half lotus, but you could come out at this point and back to Janu Shirshasana. Now we bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg, above or below the knee, or maybe the foot. Left hand on the floor behind us, or again, possibly picking up the foot, finding the inner right thigh or the right thigh muscles. And it is possible to do this in half lotus, just checked. One more breath. And at the end of the exhale, unwind, back to neutral. I'm going to stretch and open the front of the body now. So bring the right hand behind you in the center of the mat, fingertips point back. Lean into that right hand and lift the hips and stretch the left hand back. It's a bit like, in fact, it's pretty much exactly like what we did at the start. This side body opener. And then slowly lower the hips down, come back to the front. And our final variation is one of the best thoracic openers, intercostal muscle openers, is the Parivriti Janu Shirshasana. So we bring the left hand onto the thigh or shin, or we bring the left elbow to the inside of the knee and hold the foot if we're very open. And then we kind of draw the left rib cage up, press the right rib cage back. We drop the right shoulder back. So we're revolving and opening the torso up towards the ceiling. And then we extend through the right arm and lean kind of up. And if we're more open, towards the left foot. But the focus here is in opening the torso up towards the ceiling as you stretch forward through the fingertips. That's it, nice all there. So there's this combination of twist and revolving and a side body opening. It's extremely opening for the intercostal muscles. One more deep breath, breathing into the right side body wherever you're feeling it. And then at the end of the exhale, just look to the floor, turn to the floor. Bring the right hand down and kind of draw the fingertips across the mat back towards you as you come back up to upright, and then just take a big breath. I always feel after that I can just breathe so freely. It's this big wow expansion. And then we'll swap sides. And don't worry if you don't feel that. Just know that these postures are all helping us move towards feeling that expansion. Okay, so open twist first. So remember, you can do this as half lotus. We take the right hand to the inside of the right leg, left hand behind, or maybe all the way around to the right thigh, or possibly find the bind with the left foot, left hand, left foot. Look over your left shoulder and breathe into the openness of this twist. Relaxing the shoulders. Feeling the lungs like bellows, expanding, opening. And at the end of your next exhale, unravel, turn to the front, probably come out of half lotus at this point. Inhale, stretch up through the fingertips, facing the front foot. We exhale, come forward, and then wherever we get to, we drop the head. And we consciously open the upper back, the mid to upper back with the breath, and the lower back. But attention especially on the upper back. So these, because we're often slumped, these muscles are constantly in the stretched position, but they're weak. So we want to nourish them with blood and with conscious breathing into the upper back. Bring vitality back, life back to this area that can get very kind of stuck and almost a bit numb. And then at the end of your next exhale, Slowly come up. Take the closed twist, so left hand toward the outside of the right foot or leg, right hand behind you, look over your right shoulder. And you just might notice the breath feels a little bit more compromised this way. It's not a true closed twist because the leg's not bent, but for me, this is the side, the way that I feel more compromised in the breath. So despite the restriction, we breathe as expansively as we can. And then at the end of the exhale, turn back to the front. Take the left hand behind you in the center of the mat, fingertips point back, lean into the left hand, lift the hips up, reach the right hand back, and the torso is kind of facing up towards the ceiling. So it's not quite the same as what we did at the start, but there is still a side opener. And then slowly lower the hips, pressing through the left hand as you come down to slow your descent and come back to face your right foot. And finishing with Parivriti, the revolved version. So right hand onto thigh or shin, right elbow to the inside of right knee, and hold the big toe edge of the foot. And then find that revolving. I mean, you can literally draw the right rib cage up, press the left rib cage back, if that helps, or just feel yourself twisting in that way and bringing the chest up towards the ceiling. So we're looking up underneath our armpit, ideally, and then we stretch and reach kind of up and forward as much as is available to us. If your right elbow is on the floor and you're very open, your left hand might meet the foot, and then we've got a purchase point to help twist it open even more. But don't rush and go for the foot before you can do so with an open chest. So if to reach the foot, you have to really close the chest to the floor, then just keep the hand raised. It's all about opening the chest. And then look to the floor, bring the left hand down, walk the hands back in towards you, coming up to vertical. Okay, great. So let's just take the legs wide for a moment. And just continue with this thing. We're going to put it all together at the end and just do a little bit more breathing and see how we feel. Okay, so starting with a gentle twist again, so you can turn to your left side. So just activate the legs, toes up to the ceiling, turn to the left, either framing the left leg with the hands or right hand onto the left thigh, left hand behind you, or maybe again, even taking the hand around the back for the right thigh. Spine is vertical, we're kind of bringing the spine out like a flower here. This is super good for opening muscles that we need to breathe fully. We need a flexible, healthy, mobile spine to breathe fully. And then exhale to unravel. Inhale, still facing your left foot, reach the hands up. And then exhale, kind of take them down to the floor as close towards the foot as possible. So it might be above the knee, might be below the knee. Some of you might get the foot. And then we fold forward over this left leg. So again, if you're more on the thigh, we're still going to drop the chin. And we're still going to stretch the upper back and get a slight side body opener. Those who are more deep are going to feel it more as a side body opener, as well as in the back. So again, it's a bit of a combination stretch. Don't forget about your right leg, keep the right leg alive, toes to the ceiling. And at the end of your next exhale, slowly come up, turn to face the front. So now we're going to do a full side body opener. It's going to feel slightly different. Your left hand is on your left leg, and we inhale, reach and stretch up, and then exhale, like the gates, but the legs are in a different position. We lean over to the left, and the left hand is going to just slide forward to wherever it's going to slide forward. Keep awareness in the right leg and foot, and breathe into the right side body. So we are doing a lot of side body openings tonight, and that's what we need to open up the breathing architecture. And then inhale, come up to the center. Take a moment, take a big breath, neutral spine. And then turn to face your right leg. So again, your twist could be simply taking the hands either side of the thigh. This could be enough. Or take the left hand onto the right thigh, the right hand behind you, or pick up the right hand, reach it all the way around to the left thigh. Keep both legs active and alive, toes pointing up to the ceiling. And again, feel like you're wringing the spine out like a funnel. The spine stays vertical and we twist around that vertical kind of axis. Breathe as fully as you can, most important. The exhale, unwind. And still facing that right leg, just inhale, stretch the arms up. So we're in a bit of a twist here, facing the right foot, and then we exhale, take the hands forward and just let them see where they land. Thigh, shin, maybe the foot. Inhale, lengthen again, and exhale, drop the head, fold forward. It's a bit like the revolved, the Paraviti thing we just did. It's like a twist and a forward fold, or twist and a lateral stretch. And basically just be very mindful, check it's appropriate for you, and then breathe into the areas of resistance, the tight areas. Perhaps it's in the upper mid-back, perhaps it's in the left side, maybe the left side of the lower back. Just notice where's tight for you and direct your breath there as you breathe fully. And at the end of the next exhale, just walking the hands back in towards you. Turn back to face the front. So now full lateral stretch. The chest stays open to the front all the time. And we just take the right hand onto the right leg. Inhale, stretch up through the left side. And exhale, lean over to the right. So there's no twisting element now. You'll feel this as a side stretch on the left side. Keep the left leg alive, toes up towards the ceiling. It's like your anchor. The left leg is your anchor so that you can feel stable as you lean away from the center. And then inhale, coming up. And then finally, just coming forward. So just as far as is right for you. So again, it might be like you're pretty much upright here. We just drop the head. You're more open, hands come further forward. And then just drop the head and breathe into the back of the body again. And then slowly walking the hands in. And before we come down to our backs, let's just do a little bit more conscious breathing. So bringing, maybe taking your hands behind the back of the knees to help you bring the legs in and come to a comfortable seat. And if you can, do cross legs or Sukhasana, shin in front of shin, or Siddhasana, foot in front of foot, even if you have to sit up on a block or two blocks. If you can take any of the classical meditation seats, then do, or another one is Vajrasana, where you're kneeling. So these are all kind of classic Pranayama seats or meditation seats, but any other posture, it doesn't really matter, as long as we're free in the torso. And we're just going to simply do 10 full expansive conscious breaths, just breathing in as fully as you can and breathing out. I'm not going to do a count, you're just going to close the eyes or have a soft gaze and just do 10 conscious full breaths and just see how it feels. So again, hands in any position. I like Jnana Mudra with the palms up, and Chin Mudra, the same position, hands down. But one more time, just bring the shoulders up, back and down, and let the chest and torso be open, and then just in your own time, more or less 10. I'm going to bring us out of this at some point, so just do as many as you can until I pull you out of the practice. Just go internal and enjoy your breath. Enjoy your breath when you've prepared the body to breathe fully. Feel as you inhale that expansion up through the body, from the belly to the ribs, to the upper chest, the collarbones, everything expanding, broadening, stretching, widening, forwards, sideways, and backwards. And as you exhale, feel everything draw back to the center line and sink and contract. This endless cycle, expand and contract. Feel the freedom of your breath. Your breath is your life force. And if you notice restrictions to the breath, parts of the body that just can't open, just kind of with loving awareness acknowledge these restrictions. The body's not yet ready to open to its full capacity. This is absolutely fine. The body has its own timeline, its own timing, and impeccable wisdom. And we don't want to force that. But just becoming aware of our restrictions is great progress indeed. One side of the body feels less open than the other, or certain specific points. Becoming aware is a wonderful place to be. That in itself is an expansion of yourself, your awareness. Taking one more full conscious breath. Wherever you're at, finish the round you're on. If you're in the middle of the round, and take one more full round. And when you're ready, come down to your back. And really, we've got about 4 minutes left. So if you're ready for Shavasana, just come straight into Shavasana. But you might, especially because we've been seated, you might just need to ease the back in some way. You might need to just stretch the legs into the air. You might need to bring the knees to the chest. You might need just a quick twist, taking the knees to one side for a few breaths and then the other. But try to, just be efficient with what you choose to do at this point, because we want to leave a good few minutes for stillness and integration. So just having a moment. And then when you feel ready, just find your way to Shavasana. And if you need a bolster under the knees or a blanket, just get yourself set up. And just as efficiently as you can. I keep thinking this is the yogi's greatest skill, the ability to just drop into Shavasana at the request, at the drop of a hat, and come into deep relaxation instantaneously. So it might not happen like that, but as best you can, kind of just drop, just let go of all effort. Let the body just relax and become floppy and heavy and just sink into the support of the floor. And again, if you notice places in the body of resistance to letting go, just send your loving awareness there to acknowledge this and extend an invitation to let go. And the body will let go when it's ready. So the best thing we can do is stay relaxed so the body feels like it's got a safe place, a safe environment, that it's safe to let go. Just relax. Relax the face and the jaw, maybe the hint of a smile on the face to help the body feel safe and good. And if you're joining me on the recording and you're not ready to move yet, then just stay right where you are. Likewise, those of you with me now who aren't ready to move, just stay in Shavasana for longer. But those who want to close at the end of an hour and 15 minutes, just gradually deepening the breath, gradually bringing some movement back, just fingers and toes, maybe the head side to side to begin with, and maybe some bigger stretches, arms overhead and knees to chest. And just slowly, gradually, gently make your way to seated. And if you are closing with me, just take a moment to consciously close the class, maybe bringing the palms together or in the lap and just closing the eyes and just maybe just taking one more full deep breath, just really enjoying and appreciating your breath, which is your life force, and just feel the magic and the power of your breath. And take this awareness away with you into your life. Maybe we can start to become more conscious of our breath in our daily life often. And when you feel ready, you can keep just opening the eyes, maybe dedicating this practice to your breath, the magic of your breath. Thank you for practicing with me tonight. Namaste. Hope you enjoyed and see you soon.